Hey everybody, this is Dax. Welcome back. So I don't follow politics at all. I mean, I got stuff coming across my news feed. I just ignore it. I mean, they're all crooks, as I've said before. But something came across my news feed the other day. It was a quote from Michelle Obama that I thought summed up nicely how the Democrats, the left, the socialists, the communists, or whatever, the SJWs, how they look at America. It's a racist quote. She doesn't even know it. I mean, that's the thing about racists, is they don't even know they're racist a lot of times. So anyway, yeah, so her quote is, and she made this quote on Tuesday at the Obama Institute Summit or whatever. Boy, doesn't that sound like fun. So she says, I want to remind white folks that y'all were running from us and you're still running. I guess I am a white folk. Could be described that way. I'm not running from anybody. I never run from anybody. Not afraid of anybody. So I have no idea what she's talking about. I mean, she goes on later to say, talks about white flight. And she was, when she and her loser husband were, moving into Chicago suburbs or whatever, they would move in and white folks would just move out because of them being there. Because she's, I guess, what she calls black, and she calls her husband black even though he's got a white mom and he was raised by white grandparents. And of course, that's a story for another day. But anyway, yeah, so evidently, I guess she knew that these people were moving out because of them. I don't know how she knew that. But, who cares? Who cares who moves out when you move in? I mean, if I move into my neighborhood, when I moved in, if people of other races and creeds or sex or whatever decide, oh my God, this guy named Dax, this white, tall guy named Dax with a white beard just moved in, I'm moving out. Well, okay, move out. I don't care. Why is that a big deal? Certainly not a deal for government to get involved in. And just, putting all of us or anybody into a group. I mean, how would Michelle Obama like it if I walked up and said, I want to remind black folks that black folks are doing most of the killing in America. No, they're not. You got some subgroups in America that are doing most of the killing. They're mostly like culture-based. I mean, some of them are Hispanic gangs. You got white guys who tend to be serial killers, I guess, whatever. A few white guys tends to happen. You got some black guys in Chicago and Detroit, Baltimore, a couple other places, whatever. But black folks aren't killing other people. You've got some subgroups of some people killing people. This is just pure racism. I mean, how, people shove a microphone in her face and they just hang on every racist word she says and don't call her on it. Oh my God, it's just, and we're still running. I mean, I've never been running. My friends don't. I've never heard any of my friends utter a racist remark. I've got friends of all races, all of them. Asians, Hispanics, blacks, whites. I may have an Indian friend or two, I guess. I mean, whatever. Doesn't matter. And so do all my other friends of all races. I mean, these people are so out of touch, living in their ivory tower or ebony tower or whatever tower it's in, sitting there preaching to the rest of us that we're running. She says also, I can't make people not afraid of black people. Yeah, she says that. I don't know what's going on. Nothing's going on, Michelle. Nothing's going on. I can't explain what's happening in your head. My head, your head. I can't explain what's happening, she says. I mean, I can explain what's happening in her head. She's a racist. She sees things through a prism of colors. instead of just being what they are. And frankly, racism is not a problem in America. It hasn't been a problem in America for a very long time, decades. And 1964 to be specific, where the law is concerned. But there's no racism. There's no generic racism in America. I mean, I go jogging regularly. I mean, people of all colors and sizes wave at me when I jog, and I wave back. I wave first most of the time, half the time, whatever. I mean, there's no racism in America. We all work next to each other. I mean, the only people who say this kind of stuff are people stuck in some sort of political SJW mindset, wanting to fix something. There's nothing that doesn't need fixing. There is no fixing. There's nothing to fix. And frankly, racism is only a problem. It's only a problem if the government is doing nothing about actions. If the government is involved in a racist activity. If it promulgates it, like it used to in America, in Nazi Germany, 15th century Venice, England, 16th century. I mean, where the government's actually involved in racist policies. Or turning its head when racist attacks happen. But racist attacks are just attacks. People who attack other people need to be put in prison. They need to go through the court system. If they're guilty, they go into prison. So it doesn't matter if somebody does something because of hate. Hate crimes, that's both. Hate crime. Have you ever known a crime that wasn't hate? Seriously. Oh my God. A major crime. So, and the same thing for racist crimes. Doesn't matter that they're racist. It only matters that it's a crime. And if the government is going after people attacking other people, which it does in this country now, well, except Antifa, and the racist Antifa, they're getting a pass. And of course, they're leftists. They're actually fascists. Antifa-fascists. They're fascists, which is ironic. But the left turns a blind eye to that because they're implementing their beliefs. Anyway. But there is no racism in America. I mean, drop it. Drop it. It needs to be dropped. It's just a joke to bring that up. It's as bad as climate change, almost. Actually, it's worse than climate change. But anyway, so these bums who say this kind of stuff, I mean, they got ulterior motives. They want the government to get involved. And frankly, really, I said a while ago that there's no racism in government, but there actually has been, hasn't there, for a very long time. Affirmative action is a racist policy. Employment regulations and laws saying that you have to give priority to people of a certain color. College entrance, where the federal government gets involved. Quotas. Those are racist policies. Even Clarence Thomas says that. So the only racism that's truly a concern in America right now is the racist policies that give priorities to people of certain races. And it's certainly not my race. So anyway, that's what really has to be addressed. If she addressed that, I'd be like, oh my goodness, Michelle, you got me. You got me. Anyway, I'm not running from anybody. And you're not either. There is no racism in America. Enough said. Y'all take care of yourselves. Bye now.